Hey guys, today I'm just be talking a little bit of like what you can do if you are very fair and you're looking for a foundation. So personally this is what I do, and I'll talk about that first and then I'll show you a couple other options. Okay, so as you know, I'm quite fair. I'm Irish and Scandinavian, so I just don't really tan very well, and my skin is actually really fair. What I do, because I can't get a match, is I make my own. This is like match to me. What I do is I pick a foundation that I like. So my favorite foundation is the Makeup Forever HD, so I mix that in with the Illamasqua Skin Base in white till I can get my perfect shade. So I mix these two together in one of the old bottles to make this. So what I do is basically I pick a foundation that I want to use. So I have two foundations I use a lot of the times. So it's either the Makeup Forever HD or the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet. These are my two favorite foundations. Makeup Forever HD is a skin finish, medium coverage, buildable foundation. This is my all-time favorite foundation. I've been wearing this for years. It was the foundation I wore at my wedding. Like, I just really like this foundation. This is the foundation I wear if I want to cover up my freckles a little bit more. If I'm doing a really like dramatic look and I want something a little more for coverage, I usually go for the Matte Velvet because it still doesn't feel super heavy on the skin. It's a little more liquidy, and it wears super well, and I have like combination skin, so something that lasts long is always ideal. And I just mix them together in an old bottle because that's easier for me. So these two foundations are both silicone based. That's something that you want to keep in mind when you're choosing a foundation, or not when you're choosing a foundation, but before you choosing your mixer. Make sure you know what it is, because silicone and silicone can obviously go together, but silicone and water don't play well together. Silicone and oil play pretty well together, so you can try that if you have like a cream white or something, and see. Obviously oil and water don't go together, so pair your water-based definitely with another water-based mixer. Illamasqua Skin Base is it dries quite matte on me. It's probably more of a full coverage, medium to full. And this is just what seems to play best with the Makeup Forever HD. So this is what I stick to because I found something that worked. One thing that I forgot to say earlier about choosing your foundation, make sure it matches your undertone. So if you are pink, grab the lightest color with a pink or cool undertone. If you're more yellow, grab the lightest yellow or golden undertone. I'm neutral, so the lightest neutral in Makeup Forever's HD line is 118. So I mix 118 with the Illamasqua Skin Base in white, because otherwise I'm needing to mix both a yellow and a pink, so I get a neutral and then a white, and then that's 3 foundations, so I'd rather just have to purchase 2. You can either mix and just put them in like little pots, ones that I don't use as often, like the Makeup Forever. I just mix a really little bit in some little pot. This I use every day, so I mix it about halfway, and just make sure that you're always shaking it, since you're obviously, we should shake your foundations in general, but this one's using 2 different formulations, so something that's going to be important. So in regards to like undertones and stuff and things I found in the drugstore that play really nicely with the Illamasqua Skin Base, is the Revlon Colorstay. This color is ivory. It's a little more of a cool undertone. This, I like the normal to dry skin one, even though I'm not that. I find that the oily skin one is way too matte and it looks just not very skin-like. If you like the more made up look, I like the made up look, but I want my skin to not look like I have a ton of foundation on. So yeah, I'm just kind of an oxymoron. But that's why I prefer this formulation. Even if you have oily skin, I'd still go for this one. 2 others that play actually really well. This is probably my favorite drugstore foundation, is the L'Oreal True Match. This is one that I wear a lot when I'm like filming because it's cheaper than my other one if I'm gonna go wash my face. But this still gives me a really nice finish. Medium coverage. It's about, I'd say medium coverage. And this plays really well with the Skin Base. Their neutral I still find doesn't match me quite well, so I usually mix their neutral with a little bit of their yellow. So I have the N1 and the NW, and I mix them and then add a little bit of white. But yeah, If you're looking for a cheaper alternative, these work great. You still will probably have to buy a little more of an expensive mixer, but if you're already buying the lightest shade in your undertone, you shouldn't be using that much mixer unless you're super, super fair. So now let's talk about mixers. So Illamasqua Skin Base in white, pretty matte finish, medium to full coverage, drier, thicker formula. As you can see, it doesn't really move. It's quite white. Doesn't show that much of my skin through it, but it works great. That's my favorite. There's also Face Atelier, probably. It's French. I don't know how to, I don't speak a lot of French, so I'm not quite sure how to say that. This is their Pro Ultra Foundation. You can also get not the Pro kind. It's basically the same. The Pro kinds come in these plastic bottles. The other ones are a slightly bigger glass bottle. Whatever, it's your choice. This one is more of a skin finish, and it's definitely more of a medium coverage. You can see that right there. It's a lot more liquidy. This goes really well with like the NARS like Sheer Glow if you like that. It plays pretty well with those L'Oreal True Match. This is one, it is also silicone based, but this one I've mixed with a couple water based and haven't had like extreme issues, but it does cut the wear time a little bit. So I do like this one. If you want something that's not as something that's going to push up your coverage at all, stick with this because it's like a medium coverage. Also there's MAC Face and Body. This is a water-based one, however it does have like a sealing agent. So I've used this with NARS Sheer Glow, and it works pretty well. Like I like it with that. It mixes best with Face and Body. I really like the Face and Body's foundations. They are just beautiful, pretty much undetectable on the skin. Great if you like that more of the dewy, fresh look. So I use this a lot actually. I use it especially if I'm working with clients. A lot of the models I work with tend to be on the fair side, so this is always great to have. So if you're looking for a water-based, this works pretty well. I know also if you live by like either not in the States or you find a way to get it, Makeup Forever makes water-based mixers. I just have never got my hands on those, so I'm not quite sure how those will work. One day I'll grab those. About the Face and Body, it is a very sheer. You can see it against there. It's quite sheer compared to the other ones. But Face and Body is buildable. And then lastly is grabbing, this is exactly what I'd use. I just can't find my RMCA one. Using a really light, like oil-based foundation. I've never mixed this. This is the OCC in Vice. I've never mixed this into a foundation. I've used it to highlight a couple times and mixed it in with like concealers. You can also use something like that or like RMCA. These are cream ones, a lot of times are oil-based, so it's up to you if that's gonna play well with your skin. But they're usually more on the full coverage side. As you can see, that does a really good, has a lot of white in it. And that's more what I'd use if I'm mixing it in with a concealer. I've luckily found a concealer that matches me really well. NARS Chantilly in their concealers is neutral enough, and it's just a touch darker. Like it's so just a touch that I wear it without mixing it because it's so close to my skin color. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about mixers and stuff. So it's basically step one, find a foundation you like. Choose that before your mixer, unless you just aren't gonna get any choice with mixers. So to find a foundation you like in a formula, try it on, make sure you like it, even if it's like too dark, because you can always, we'll fix it later. Then figure out the base would be step number two. I have white on my hands, gross. So step number two is figure out the base. So for water, silicone, wax, oil, whatever it is, so that you can find an appropriate mixer. Step number three is get a mixer. Figure out the consistency that you prefer. Figure out if you would rather like thin out your foundation or add more coverage to your foundation, anything like that. Step number four is like try it out. So mix it together. I'd mix it in a small little, just a small little bit, just like 1 or 2 uses, so you can test it out and make sure that you like the foundations mixed. before making like a bottle. Like I know that I like the Makeup Forever mixed with the Illamasqua, so I can mix like a little bottle of it, and just because that's easy since I wear foundation every day, then I don't have to mix every day. So yeah, that's pretty much all you have to do if you are very fair. There are definitely ways to get a perfect match, or you can always, like, if you're into it, blend down your neck. You can wear a darker foundation color. There's nothing really wrong with that. It's makeup. There's no rules. So figure out what works best for you. Personally, I like to match my skin tone. Being very fair, I don't have a lot of options. The only thing I found that is lighter than my skin tones are in the pro brands. I prefer not to use a cream foundation every day. Liquid foundations are just easier for me to apply quickly, so I opt for my favorite foundation, and I just mix it to match my skin. So don't feel like just because you're fair you can't do it. In the same regards, if you have very deep skin tone, I know that is another huge issue really on either side of the spectrum, but I actually think it's probably worse on the deeper side. A lot of foundations do not go very deep at all. You can do the same type of thing. Find a foundation you like and find a mixer. A big issue when you're going into a deeper skin tone is sometimes when you have a deeper skin tone, you're gonna have more of a red undertone than a yellow, and a lot of brands only go for yellow. So in that case, I would recommend Face Atelier. 0- is their white. They also have 0+, which is to deepen. They also have something called Heat, which adds a little more of a red undertone to it. So you can totally alter the colors so it fits. Even if you're not fair or really deep skinned, you can always, if you don't find your perfect match, mix. Like for me, really good match is important. If you're someone that can't find an exact shade match, mix. I mean, it's kind of a pain because you're like, oh, up front, it's a lot of money for a foundation, but it's gonna last you twice as long because you have 2 bottles of foundation. So anyhow, that was kind of a ramble towards the end. Sorry about that. Let me know if you have any questions or comments in the box below, or if you'd like more types of stuff about being fair-skinned. I don't know a lot of people with as fair skin as me. So I don't know if people are interested in stuff like that. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I will see you guys again soon. I can't talk.